Hey guys, my name is Francisco Hernandez, and today I want to answer a question that you guys have been asking me for quite some time now, and that's going to be, what ND filter do you recommend? In the past, I've actually gone over some ND filters that I do recommend, but those ones went over the camera sensor, and I know a lot of you guys didn't want to go that route. You felt like it was a little too scary, which is completely reasonable. So in today's video, I wanted to go over one that isn't too scary at all, that works really great, and it's very easy to add to your lens, and that's going to be the one I'm about to show you, which is the Freewell V2 Hybrid Variable ND/CPL filter that's adjustable from 3 to 7 stops. I've actually already done a full photo shoot using this filter. You guys can find some of the images that I took using the filter on the screen right now. This is from a photo shoot that I did last year with Bonnie in very bright sunlight using just a 200 watt strobe. If you guys want to see the video that I did using that filter, you can find a link to it in the top right corner of the screen, as well as in the description area below. This right here is the carrying case inside the box that I just showed you, and it's going to have the ND filter in there as well as the other things that it comes with. But I just wanted to show you guys really quickly how it looks like up and close and personal, because it is a really nice case. But now, of course, let me just open it up and show you guys what comes inside. One of the first things that you'll see is this little envelope that has a QR code on the back, which you can visit for installation instructions. But inside of that, you're going to have a manual so that you can find out a little bit about how to install it there. There's also a lens cloth to clean the ND filter. There's also a card for video tutorials so you can learn some of the basics that are shown on the back of this card right here. You're also going to find this keychain right here. And then finally, you have these two stickers. You're also going to find two of these little baby screws that I'm pretty sure are just backups in case you lose the included screw that's on the CPL part of the variable ND filter. You're also going to find this base ring right here, which is 82 millimeters. This is what you're going to attach to your lens. That's going to allow you to connect the variable ND/CPL filter to your lens magnetically. You're also going to find this awesome Captain America shield looking thing, which is going to be a magnetic front and rear lens cap for the filter. And last but not least, you have the variable ND/CPL filter itself right here. I actually really like the color scheme of black and red, so I'm really happy with how it's designed. Like I said earlier, the base ring that comes with this filter is 82 millimeters. So in case you have a lens that has a filter thread size that's smaller than that, you can buy some step down rings on the Freewell website to adapt this 82 millimeters to whatever size your lens is. But luckily for me, I actually do have a lens that's 82 millimeters in size. This is the Tamron 35-150 f2 to 2.8 lens. And this is the lens that I used for that photo shoot that I showed you some photos from earlier. All you gotta do right now is just get the base ring and attach it to the lens. And now with the base ring attached to the lens, all I have to do is just plop the ND filter/CPL filter onto the lens, and it's connected magnetically, and I can start to shoot. Again, you also have this magnetic front and rear lens cap, so in case you guys want to protect the filter when you're not using it. There is this little ring here that you can lift up so that you can easily grab onto something, so that you can pull apart the lens caps, because they are very strong on there to connect it because they're magnets. Here is the lens, and if I wanted to protect it, then I gotta just attach this to the top and it's connected. So I went ahead and got a lot closer to my camera so you guys can see exactly how to adjust the CPL part of this ND filter/CPL filter. And the key to that is going to be that little screw right there. If you want to adjust the CPL part of this filter, then you're going to rotate this screw. And then let's say you find it to be good right here. Well, then now you're going to tighten the screw. And now you can rotate the front part right here of this filter, and that'll adjust the ND portion of this filter. One of the things that really drew me to this variable ND from Freewell was the ND filter that it offered. The intensity was 3 to 7 stops, when other filters that I've used in the past, some other variable ND filters, were offered, I believe, 2 to 5 and 6 to 9 stops. And there'd be a lot of times when I'm using an aperture of f1.2 and I feel like 5 stops is a little too bright and I needed a little bit more, but then that would require me going to another ND filter to get that 6 to 9 stops. And there'd be times where even at 6 stops, I felt like maybe now that was a little too dark, and I would need to adjust my ISO a little bit higher or my shutter speed a little bit slower in order to get that correct exposure. So 3 to 7 stops is honestly very ideal for me. If you also like to use apertures of f1.2 or even f1.4, then I think this range, this 3 to 7 stops range, is perfect. So right now I'm here in my backyard and I wanted to give anybody who's interested in doing video with the filter a quick demonstration as to why you would want to use this filter outdoors. It's very simple. If you want to use a very wide aperture but you're limited in your settings, then a variable ND filter can really help you out in achieving that correct exposure with those wide apertures. Right now with the video that you're currently seeing, I'm at f4.5, ISO 100, which is the lowest, and I'm at 1/50th of a second shutter speed, so I can get a little bit of motion blur. But if I wanted to use a wide aperture of f1.2, then I would have a very overexposed image. And the reason why you might want to use a wide aperture is, let's say for example, I didn't like the background, felt like it was too ugly. Well, that's where that wide aperture can help blur that background. So what I'm gonna do right now is actually go to f1.2 and brace yourself. It's a very overexposed image and it's way too distracting. So I'm gonna add the ND filter now, the variable ND filter, and I'm gonna plop it on. And now you can see that I have a good exposure on me, but I still haven't adjusted the CPL part of this variable ND filter slash CPL filter. A circular polarizer, that CPL, actually helps cut down reflections in your image. And even though I don't have any strong reflections in this video that you're currently seeing, I do kind of have a similar effect on the sides of my face with the lighting that's right here on the sides of my face, my shiny face, I guess. So I can actually show you guys how the CPL will help cut that down. So again, pay attention to these sides of my face and I'm gonna adjust the CPL and you can see that it is cutting down the reflections on the sides of my face very much. And to me, it actually looks like a much more pleasant look on my face rather than having those strong reflections on the sides of my face. Hopefully you guys found that demonstration helpful for anybody who wants to use this filter with video. But now I want to give a quick demonstration to anybody who's interested in using off-camera flash with this variable ND slash CPL filter. So I have my off-camera flash set up right here and I wanted to give you guys a quick demonstration as to why you would want to use a variable ND slash CPL filter with off-camera flash. So I'm going to show you guys a shot without the ND filter on, and then I'll show you guys a shot with the ND filter and how the settings are going to change. Again, the whole point of using an ND filter with off-camera flash is to avoid what's known as high-speed sync. And high-speed sync is just using any sort of fast shutter speed past a certain speed on your camera. It's going to vary on the camera. On my camera, it's going to be 1/250th of a second shutter speed. And the reason why you would want to avoid high-speed sync and use an ND filter to achieve the same result of lowering the exposure is because you experience a huge amount of power loss whenever you use high-speed sync. To really emphasize exactly how much power you lose with high-speed sync, I have this mini speedlight here, which is called the Godox V350. And this speedlight is exactly the one I wanted to use today because it experiences the hugest loss of power in high-speed sync. This speedlight is around 40 watts of power without high-speed sync at full power. But once you use it in high-speed sync at full power, you're not getting 40 watts of power. You're getting something like 5 watts only. So that's a huge drop in power. So let me just go ahead and do what I told you guys I was going to do earlier, which is take a shot with high-speed sync at full power with my subject. And I do want to underexpose the ambient quite a bit, so I'm actually at 1/8000th of a second, f2.8, ISO 100. As you guys can see on the screen, it is a little bit underexposed, and the reason for that is because with my chosen exposure of the background with that fast shutter speed, I had to go into high-speed sync and lose a lot of power to achieve that exposure, at least a little bit of exposure of the flash on the subject. But again, it wasn't enough. Right now I was at 1/8000th of a second, but I want to go now to 1/250th of a second, my fastest without high-speed sync, and then just adjust the variable ND filter to get the same exposure. So the shot that I just took right now on the screen is very overexposed. So I actually had too much power without using high-speed sync. Previously I didn't have enough, and now without high-speed sync, I do have too much power. So I can actually reduce the power of the flash to get a much more even exposure on my subject. I'm gonna go to about 1/4 plus 1/3 and then take another shot. And I do actually feel like that's a perfect exposure there. So you can actually see that I did benefit from using this ND filter because I did have enough power. I actually had more power than when I had used the speedlight here in high-speed sync. So to summarize, if I have an ND filter, I can actually get more power or actually utilize the power that's actually there with my lighting. And if I don't have a variable ND filter, I have to rely on using a fast shutter speed and high-speed sync, which will again cut down the power that I have available in my lighting. One thing that I almost forgot to mention is that Freewell does offer some other types of filters out there, like this diffusion snow mist 1/4 filter, and you can actually attach one filter to the variable CPL / ND filter, variable ND filter, the one that we've been talking about in this video, this one right here. You can actually attach the snow mist filter directly to this filter, and then you can add that soft glow in your image. And that's pretty much my review of the Freewell V2 Hybrid Variable ND / CPL filter that's 3 to 7 stops and available in 82 millimeters. If you guys have any questions about this filter or anything else, let me know in the comments below and I'll help you out as soon as possible. I really do hope you guys enjoyed this video and that it helped you out in terms of what ND filter to get, because again, I do not only use this filter, but I highly recommend it as well. And I hope you guys enjoy it if you decide to get it yourself. Take care guys, and I'll see you in the very next video.